Welcome back to the podcast. I am Taylor, and it is Thursday, which means we have a ton of AI news to get through today. I am so pumped for this lineup.
I am Morgan, and yeah, the news cycle never really sleeps, does it? It feels like every single day there's a new model or a new controversy. What is on the docket for today, Taylor?
Oh man, we have got Midjourney V8 dropping, Gemini getting super personal, and some crazy new architecture called Mamba-3. But first, let's talk about the judges of the AI industry.
Ah, you mean the LM Arena leaderboard. I saw that TechCrunch piece. It is fascinating how a simple PhD project became the absolute gold standard for measuring AI performance.
Right. So Arena started as a UC Berkeley research project just 7 months ago. Now it is the de facto public leaderboard for testing frontier LLMs. It is literally influencing funding and PR cycles. It's wild.
It is wild, but here's the catch. The TechCrunch article points out this leaderboard is actually funded by the very companies it is ranking. That feels like a massive conflict of interest to me.
I mean, yeah, I get that, but they claim it is the leaderboard you quote unquote can't game because it relies on blind crowdsourced testing. Users just vote on which output is better without knowing the model.
True, crowdsourcing helps mitigate bias, but when the big players are pouring money into the platform that dictates their success, you have to stay a little skeptical. Money always complicates things.
Totally fair. Still, it is pretty cool that a bunch of PhD students are basically acting as the referees for multi-billion-dollar tech giants. It is like a real-life David and Goliath situation, you know?
Or David just got hired by Goliath. Either way, it highlights how desperate the industry is for standardized benchmarks. Traditional test scores just do not reflect human preference anymore.
Exactly. And with models multiplying so fast, we need a way to cut through the marketing hype. Even if the funding is murky, blind testing is probably our best bet right now.
For now, yes, but as these models get more complex, I wonder if simple crowdsourced voting will be enough to properly evaluate things like advanced reasoning or coding capabilities.
Wait, but if they are blind testing, how do they handle malicious prompts or safety stuff? Does the crowd vote on that too, or is there a separate system?
That is a great question. The crowdsourced model struggles with complex safety evaluations. They still need dedicated red teaming for that, which adds another layer of complexity to the rankings.
Speaking of evaluating capabilities, let's talk about image generation. Midjourney just rolled out an early version of its V8 model for community testing. Apparently, the generation is like 5 times faster now.
5 times faster is a huge leap in efficiency. I was reading on the decoder that the details and prompt adherence are significantly better too. But there is a pretty steep catch to all this.
Oh yeah, dude. The pricing. They're charging like 4 times as much for some of its best features. That is a massive price hike for creators who rely on this daily.
Exactly. It really begs the question of long-term sustainability. If inference costs are so high that you have to quadruple the price, is the average user going to stick around for V8?
I don't know, man. Midjourney has a super loyal fan base. If V8 is really that much better, professionals might just eat the cost as a necessary business expense. Quality is king, right?
Maybe for enterprise users and professional designers, sure, but it definitely opens the door for competitors to swoop in with cheaper, good enough alternatives for the casual hobbyist.
For sure. Plus, they are still in early testing. Maybe they will optimize the back end and drop the prices before the official full-scale release. We can hope anyway.
I wouldn't hold my breath on price drops. High-quality image generation requires massive compute, but the speed improvements alone might justify the cost if you were generating hundreds of images a day.
Oh, I also read that V8 handles complex prompts way better. Like, if you ask for specific lighting and camera angles, it actually listens to you now instead of just guessing.
That level of granular control is exactly what professionals need.
If it reduces the number of re-rolls required to get the perfect image, that might actually offset the higher cost.
Okay, moving on to something a bit more personal. Somebody over at ZDNet tried out Gemini's new personal intelligence mode, and it sounds incredibly useful, but also slightly terrifying.
Terrifying is usually the right word when we talk about hyper-personalized AI. What exactly did it know about this writer that was so unsettling? I am almost afraid to ask.
Well, it basically scans everything in your Google ecosystem, like your emails, docs, and habits, and acts like a hyper-aware assistant. The reviewer said it was shockingly accurate about their entire life.
Right, which means Google is ingesting a massive amount of highly sensitive personal context. The privacy implications of handing over that much granular data are just staggering to think about.
Yeah, but think about the convenience, dude. It can probably draft the perfect email to your boss or plan your whole week because it actually knows how you think and work.
I get the appeal, I really do. But you are essentially handing over a digital copy of your brain to Google. How secure is that data from breaches, or even just internal misuse?
That is the million-dollar question. The ZDNet writer admitted it was super useful for productivity, but they definitely felt that Big Brother vibe the whole time. It's a really tough trade-off.
It always is. Convenience versus privacy is the defining battle of the AI era. I am just not sure I am ready to let Gemini read my diary and manage my life just yet.
And you know what else is crazy? It doesn't just read your stuff, it actively connects the dots. Like, it knows your flight was delayed and reschedules your dinner reservation automatically.
Okay, that crosses the line from assistant to autonomous agent. When it starts taking actions on your behalf without explicit permission, the security risks multiply exponentially.
I might try it just to see. I mean, Google already knows everything about me anyway, so I might as well get a really good virtual assistant out of it, right?
That is a very pragmatic, if slightly depressing, way to look at it. Just do not come crying to me when Gemini starts anticipating your thoughts before you even have them.
Fair enough. Well, our last story is a bit more technical, but it is super cool. Researchers just announced Mamba-3, which is a brand new state space model frontier.
Ah, yes. I saw this covered on Mark Tech Post. State-spaced models, or SSMs, are trying to challenge the dominance of transformers by being way more efficient at inference time.
Exactly. Transformers are great, but they take up so much memory and compute power. Mamba-3 apparently has 2 times smaller states and uses this enhanced MIMO decoding hardware efficiency.
Right, and to break that down for our listeners, MIMO stands for multiple input, multiple output. It basically means the model can process data streams much faster, directly on the hardware level.
Dude, that is huge for running local AI. If they can shrink the memory footprint and speed up processing, we could see way smarter, faster models running right on our phones.
That is the ultimate goal. The researchers from CMU and Princeton are clearly targeting the deployment bottleneck. Transformers have quadratic complexity, which just doesn't scale well for really long context windows.
Yeah, so Mamba-3 is basically stepping up to say, hey, we can do this faster and cheaper without losing quality. I love seeing actual architectural innovation instead of just scaling up.
I agree completely. It is a necessary shift. If we want AI to be truly ubiquitous, we can't just keep building massive server farms. We need fundamental breakthroughs in efficiency like this.
Wait, so if Mamba-3 is this much smaller and faster, why isn't OpenAI or Google just dropping transformers right now and switching over to this new architecture?
It is not that simple. The entire AI infrastructure, from hardware optimization to training pipelines, is currently built around transformers. Pivoting an entire industry takes time and massive investment.
Plus, with inference time compute becoming the main driver for performance, having a model that doesn't choke on memory requirements is going to be a massive competitive advantage for developers.
Definitely. It will be interesting to see if Mamba-3 can gain enough traction to actually pull developers away from the established transformer ecosystem. Changing architectures is not a small task.
Well said. It is definitely going to be interesting to see if these new architectures can actually dethrone transformers in the long run. The space is just moving so incredibly fast.
I will be keeping a close eye on the benchmarks for sure. Hopefully, Ella Marina can give us some unbiased results on that. Ha, bringing it full circle.
I love it. That is it for today. We will be back tomorrow with more AI news.